Great. Thank you, Kelsey. Um, so first of all, thank you for being here. I'm listening to our webinar on Decree 248. I understand this is the topic. This is the topic that generates the most interest from companies because it's a step that you have to go through in order to start doing business with China. So before we get started, just wanted to say that on this topic, the USDA FAS office has been providing all of the necessary information and updates on this subject matter through their gain reports. So that these reports allowed us to collect all the information and share them with you and present them to you today. So all credits to the USDA FAS office for allowing to show these information to you guys today. And we're going to try and answer your questions to the best of our abilities. So without further ado, we'll get started. So just in case you guys don't know about what Decree 248 is, here's a little background information. So Decree 248, also known as the Regulations on the Registration and Administration of Overseas Producers of Imported Food, that's the full name of it, and it was announced on April 12th, 2021 during COVID by the General Administration of Customs of China, or GAC. We'll refer them to GAC from now on. So Decree 248, what is it? So it requires foreign establishments, including the production, processing, and storage facilities of specific categories of food and agricultural products to be registered in GAC's China Import Food Enterprise Registration System, or we'll call it CIFR system, and receive approval from GAC prior to being shipped out. It additionally requires that registered CIFR facilities and establishments list each product, which is defined as a combination of one HS code plus a corresponding CIQ code, or Customs Inspection and Quarantine code. And attach that to their CIFR registration, as this is essential for an importer or their agent to present the shipment for customs clearance. And on January 1st, 2022, Decree 248 became effective and replaces the administrative measures for registration of overseas producers of imported food, also known as Decree 145. So that replaces Decree 145. So now, who should apply for Decree 248? And the answer is the registration is for food manufacturing, processing, and cold, well, not necessarily cold, but storage facilities that handle products categorized as Article 7 or Article 9 products for export to China. We'll get into what these Article 7 and what Article 9 products are. But it is recommended that all food processing facilities that carry out the final processing step, as well as the storage facilities where the product is subsequently handled prior to export to China, and these should be registered. So only the establishment can apply and manage their registration. And the application requires specific information to be submitted by the manufacturer, processor, or storage facility, including the legal representative for the establishments. If the company does not process, store, or handle food products, they do not need to register. So, for example, If you're a freight forwarder and only receive and forward goods, food without storing product for any length of time, requirements do not apply. If you're a freight forwarder that stores, let's say, cold products for an extended periods of time, then the registration requirement will apply. Now, if you're a brand owner and use contract manufacturers, then you do not need to register, but your contract manufacturers will need to register. So we mentioned Article 7 and Article 9 products are required to register, but what exactly are these? So essentially, all food and agri-food products that are allocated with an HS code have been classified into either an Article 7 or Article 9 products. And we will dive into what those products are shortly, but if you manufacture, process, or store products listed in Article 7, you will need to contact what is called a competent authority for their assistance to facilitate the registration with China. Now, for Article 9 products, you will need to register them on your own through the Cipher system. And GAC is the final decision maker, so any applications submitted through their system, their Cipher system, will be assessed by them and also at their discretion. So there are a total of 18 categories of products that are categorized as Article 7 products. Now, we'll quickly go through them without getting too deep into every single product within the categories, but they include meat and meat products. So in general, include beef, pork, poultry, and you can see horse meat, donkey meat, mule, rabbit, venison. These all are all encompassing in the meat products category. For dairy, for example, infant dairy milk products, pasteurized milk, and other milk products, aquatic products. So in seafood general, you have the very specific category of bird's nest and bird's nest products, casings so that bee products, eggs and egg products, edible fats and oils, stuffed wheaten products, edible grains, for example, rice, oats, sorghum, milled grain industry products and malt, fresh and dehydrated vegetables and fresh dried beans, so condiments. You can see what the exact description that GAC has provided for each description for each category. Nuts and seeds, dried fruits, unroasted coffee beans and cocoa beans, and foods for special dietary purposes. So that also includes soy-based infant formulas, special medical use formula, infant and toddler complementary foods, and other categorizations. And then last but not least, you have healthy foods and functional foods. So these 18 categories are considered Article 7 products. At least we'll be referring them as Article 7 products. Now for Article 9 products, these are the categories that covers, and it excludes fresh fruit, who is at this point not required for registration under Decree 248. So besides fresh fruits, in essence, any products that are not listed under Article 7 you can consider them Article 9 products. So this pretty much includes vegetables and vegetable products, grain products and other products, tea, nuts and seed products, alcoholic beverages, beverages and frozen beverages, biscuits, cakes and bread, sugars, and that includes raw sugar, lactose, syrup, etc. Confectionery, chocolate, that includes chocolate, cocoa butter, substitute chocolate, and its products. Seasonings, roasted coffee beans, cocoa beans, and the other products. Fruit products, other miscellaneous foods, and frozen foods, frozen fruit. So if your product falls into the 18 categories in Article 7, GAC requires you to register your facility through a competent authority in accordance to the decree. So for U.S. exporters, there are two of such authorities. So for companies exporting meat and poultry products, they should refer to the USDA, Food Safety and Inspection Services Export Library. For companies that export any of the Article 7 products besides meat and poultry, please go through the FDA and their export listing module. I guess we'll call it ELM. So if you're registering through FICIS, I guess we'll pronounce it FICIS, here are some of the key information. Starting July 1st, 2024. For export certificates for meat and poultry products, and that is excluding casings and egg products, exported to China, will be digitally signed by FICIS Public Health Information System. So exporters are advised that importers must have a valid import license to allow entry of meat and poultry products. And exporters should work closely with their importers to ensure that the proper licenses have been obtained. FICIS personnel do not need a copy of the permit license and do not need to verify if there is a valid import license in order to issue export certificates. And all export applications for meat and poultry exports must be entered and processed through this, the Public Health Information System. So it requires the export applicant to enter the port of entry, slaughter establishment number, processing establishment number, sealing container numbers before the applications can be approved. And U.S. facilities approved by FICIS for export to China must be listed on GAC's website before slaughtering and processing beef, pork, or poultry products for export to China. And these facilities can only export to China beef, pork, or poultry that are slaughtered and further processed after the factory has been added to the GAC website. And all of this information can be found in the link below, which we'll share with you after the webinar. And for those registering with the FDA, establishments must first apply for listing for export to China with FDA in the ELM system under specific product categories. And that is an essential all non-meat Article 7 products. And applications in the ELM system allows the FDA to review and verify the regulatory history of your establishment. And the ELM system is organized by product category, so please make sure the establishment has submitted an application in the ELM system for every category of products that you wish to export. And you will submit a 10-digit HS code in your ELM system for each product that your establishment intends to export to China. And the ELMs and Cipher system that the GAC has are not linked, and do not transmit any data between each other. So exporting establishments must also submit an application for registration in the GAC cipher system. So the FDA will not review and process the application in the ELM system until your establishment has submitted an application in the cipher system. And applications in both systems must be submitted before any actions will be taken. So for more details and instructions for the ELM system, modules can be found on FDA's website. And for any assistance with that ELM system, there's an email address right there. You can contact that if you run into any issues. Well, here's a YouTube video by the FDA going through the entire process. It is over 30 minutes long, so I'm not gonna play this here, but the link is right here if you guys want to check it out, if anyone's interested. So once the relevant establishments are registered and listed, China also requires official certificates for shipments of dairy, which includes formula for infants and young children, and also for seafood products. So for dairy, the USDA Agricultural Marketing Service Dairy Grading Branch issues the sanitary certificates for dairy products exported from the US to China. And for seafood, the NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Seafood Inspection Program, issues the export certificates for seafood products exported from the US to China. Now, if you have facilities or establishments that are exporting Article 9 products to China, you will need to register in the cipher system prior to shipping. And each facility must list the product it intends to export to China in the application. So, as mentioned earlier, the products are defined as a combination of 1 and 10-digit HS code plus a corresponding 3-digit CIQ code. And Chinese importers must present these codes to GAC in order to clear shipments when they're in China. And facilities and establishments are strongly encouraged to verify that all facility and product registration information is complete and correct within the cipher system prior to shipping products to China. So to check if your establishment or an establishment you're sourcing products from is currently registered, you can use the Cipher Query website, link right there, which is a public-facing site administered by GAC that shows all current registrations within Cipher. That includes the country, product category, China registration number, overseas registration number, such as your export establishment number, name of the company, the address, registration date, and the expiry date of the registration, as well as the current status, which you can see if it's either whether it's valid or expired. So there are a few videos on YouTube that actually walks you through the registration process step by step. But since we're on a time schedule, here's a condensed version of it. So to get started on registering your establishment with the Cipher system and manage product registration with China, here's the link for the single window website. And first thing first is to create an account. So if you're self-registering and do not already have a user account for that establishment, click the Create an Account link in the circled red below. Here you will find all the necessary information required, including your username, password, country, region, and registration number. So this is where you will be entering your FDA establishment identifier number for your establishment, which can be found on the FBI search portal on the FDA website. So please do note that this is not your establishment's FDA food facility registration number, which must be kept confidential by the FDA under US law. And please also make sure that the FDA is indicated as the competent authority associated with your establishment. After that, continue to fill out the rest of the form in your email, which is going to be receiving notifications and also to reset your password just in case. And it is recommended that a general email address or a shared inbox be used just in case there are any staffing changes. So you're not going to want to not being able to access that email account if the email goes to one specific person and that person either leaves or anything. So once the account is created, the registration number associated with it cannot be changed in the system. So if your establishment has previously created an account using a number different from your establishment's FEI number, it is recommended that you delete the current account and create a new one using your establishment's FEI number. So once the account is created, you should see the page here on the right, which is the main menu. And the next step then is for the US government to authenticate your account in the Cypher system. And this is done by emailing the USDA at decree248inquiry@usda.gov with the subject line request Cypher authentication. And it should include your establishment's name, registration number, for example, to your FDA FEI number, and address. Your account will be authenticated within a few days by checking against the FDA's registration record. So please make sure that your establishment name, registration number, and address match your FDA FEI records found in their search portal. So while you wait for the authentication, you can use the Cypher system to find your product categories. So GAC provides a HS code and CIQ code search function on the system to show which products are within scope of Decree 248 and also which category they are defined under. So you can do that by using the product type query search function on the main menu. And if you're not sure about the HS code or the CIQ code, you can ask your Chinese importer or agent or someone who's knowledgeable with the HS code and CIQ code to confirm the full 10-digit Chinese HS code and also the 3-digit CIQ code that they will be using to import the products into China. And this is important because the importer includes an HS and CIQ code in their import declaration, and it must match one of the HS and CIQ codes you have in your registration scope. And if there are no results for your HS code or your CIQ code in the codes in the search results, then the product might not be in the scope of Decree 248's registration requirements. So once you received the email reply from USDA that your establishment's account has been authenticated, establishments should submit an application under the Application for Registration module within the Cypher system. So the module can be accessed via the menu on the left-hand side once you logged on to the Cypher website. So after clicking it, you will see a list of products categories. For example, what you can see here, tea, nuts and seeds products, and alcoholic beverages, so forth, so forth. And after you click one of the categories, there will be more subcategories available for you to identify and also to click on. So once you've identified the product, select the product to start a draft application for registration. So from here on, you will need to enter the establishment's address and contact information, product and manufacturing process information, and upload any required documentation, including a signed and stamped establishment declaration. So from what I understand, not every U.S. company is used to having a company stamp or seal for documents, but it's a thing in China to show a stamped document as proof that something is official. So if you can, stamp your documents to make sure your application can go through GAC's review. So anyway, in this page, all fields with a red asterisk or a yes indication in the document checklist must be completed before your application can be approved. And your establishment will need to submit both an HS code and CIQ code for each product that you intend to export. So the USDA, they have compiled a list of these codes and products, and they can be found in the spreadsheet attachment within their GAIN report, which is titled Decree 248 Product List Update, which I will be showing later on. So once this form is completed, you will click Submit to transmit the application to the U.S. government Cypher account, where it will be reviewed and either transmitted to GAC or returned for correction by your establishment. So once submitted to GAC, the review process can take up to several weeks, and it is encouraged that you check your Cypher accounts periodically to determine the status of the application with GAC. And in the experience of the U.S. government, GAC will not respond to inquiries on application status. Now, once approved, your establishment will receive a GAC registration number that is different from the FEI number from the FDA used to create your Cypher account. Your establishment will need this GAC registration number upon import, so it is important that your establishment does not export product without having first received the GAC registration number. Should you need to change things in your application, click on the Application for Modification tab in the main menu. Select the registration you want to modify from the table and select Modify, taking you into a draft application where you can update your information. Once you're done, click Preview to review your information, and then click Submit to submit your application again. To check the status of your application, click on the Application Form Query tab in the main menu, which is highlighted in yellow right there. And check the column Application Status, where you can find a full list of statuses in the operation menu in Cypher. So there's a few different types of statuses you're going to see, and that may include the following statuses, which first off, it's the temporarily saved by enterprise. So that means you have started a draft application, but have not submitted it yet. So to continue editing, click Edit under Action. They have being accepted by the GAC, which means GAC has accepted the application and is reviewing it. If you see approved, that means GAC has approved the application. If you see to be corrected, which means GAC has returned the application so it can be edited and resubmitted. So for self-registration applications, you will need to edit and resubmit any revisions yourself. And if your product is registered under the FISA or FDA, they will assess the application and let you know the next steps. So once it's been approved, the registration will be valid up to 5 years under Article 16 of Decree 248. And in Article 20 of the decree, it stipulates that the foods facilities should renew within 3 to 6 months before the registration expires. So to renew your registration, click Application for Extension from the main menu and select the registration you want to renew from the table and select Extend, take you into Draft Application. So you will only see and be able to apply to renew registrations that are within the renewal window.
Good. What American politics seems increasingly driven by paranoia, anxiety.
Anyway, upload the required renewal declaration signed by your establishment's legal representative. Then click Extend on the top left of the page, then confirm and submit your application. Sorry, I don't have a screenshot of it, but you're going to have to trust it. So a few updates on the Decree 248. This is from June 2024. And this information comes from the FAS office. So GAC has moved some products originally under Decree 248 to management under the Department of Animal and Plant Quarantine. So please consult the latest list of products rather than the original Decree 248. And also, according to the FAS as well, in December 2021, FDA sent lists of exporting establishments from their ELM system under fast track process, and GAC has only allowed imports from these establishments. Since January 2022, GAC has required new registration applications to be made by establishments directly in the Cypher system. So none of these new applications have been approved, and while the US government worked to understand GAC's procedures and implement a workable registration process for the new applicants under Decree 248. And also, GAC's Bureau of Import and Export Food Safety, I guess you pronounce it BEEPS, has made several updates on the list of products and codes subject to Decree 248 and has not notified these changes to any trade partners. So between May 2nd to July 8th, 2024, Beef has added 60 products and removed 13 products in the list. And changes affect aquatic products, edible vegetable oils, frozen fruits, dried fruits, canned fruits, candy fruits, fresh and dehydrated vegetables, grain products, grain milling industrial products and malts, milk products, protein beverages, plant spices, nuts and seeds, food preparations, and functional foods. Some of the updates are not complete removal of the products, but additions of the same products with different CIQ codes. Since GAC does not announce changes to the list of products subject to the scope of Decree 248, exporters should periodically run the product type queried on the system, which we showed earlier, to determine if your products, if your exported products required registration and whether they can be self-registered or requires assistance from a competent authority. And exporters are also encouraged to maintain active communication with their importers and to check for any updates in gain reports and also on Cypher. So the link to the latest product update list from July 2024. You can find it right there here at the bottom. But please do check on the GAIN website for any latest updates. So again, here are some of the common issues with Decree 248. This is once again from the FAS. So that includes registration delays for new applicants. Since January 1st, 2022, GAC has not approved first-time registration applicants for U.S. facilities seeking to export Article 7 products. So only facilities that initially registered in December 2021 are currently registered to export Article 7 products to China. GAC has not outlined a process for registering new facilities that is justified on a science or risk basis, or that the FDA or other U.S. agencies are currently resourced to administer. So the U.S. continues to seek clarity from GAC to fully understand the process for registration for new facilities within Cypher, and new facilities seeking registration to export Article 7 products are urged to submit applications within Cypher and also in the FDA's ELM module system. These new facilities should not expect that these applications will be transmitted to GAC for approval at this time. This time, as in the writing of the report, I believe that is from 2023. So the U.S. government agencies are continuing to work towards a long-term solution for registration of these facilities in the Cypher system. So another common issue is product date versus shipping date. So for Article 7 products, GAC personnel have communicated to the FAS China staff that only products produced after the facility is completely registered are eligible for import into China. And this is a change from earlier statements that the products are eligible for import as long as the facility is registered before the products are shipped. And this change has not been notified to the WTO or communicated in writing to FAS China. And facilities producing products including in Article 9 of Decree 248, which means any food products not listed in Article 7, still need to be registered before products are shipped. GAC has also informed FAS China that frozen fruits need to adhere to the same requirement as Article 7 products in regard to production date and shipping date, even though frozen fruit is eligible for self-registration. And it should be noted that GAC's definition of produced is unclear. And GAC has informed FAS China office that the shipping date means the date the product is loaded on vessels prior to departing U.S. ports. And their office continued to seek clarification on this issue and have communicated to GAC that this change in policy is problematic for U.S. facilities. Now, if a shipment is detained, please refer to the instructions in clearing detained shipments and official guidance that is on the GAIN website. So firms consolidating shipments from multiple facilities should ensure that each supplying facility is registered to export their constituent products within the shipment. That product packaging carries appropriate facility-specific labeling. And just to extend on that a little bit, for labeling requirements, we have done a webinar in late September that goes into more details about the labeling requirements and other export requirements for China. So that should be posted on USADA's website or on YouTube. So please check those out if you need more information. So now if a shipment is detained due to a registration issue, the FAS may not be able to help clear your shipment. And for assistance with detained shipment, please do refer to the link for the clearing detained shipments and official guidance, or contact the USDA office in the email address right there. Last but not least, there are fake registration portals out there looking to take advantage of those who are unfamiliar with the process. So first and foremost, using the Cypher system is completely free. So unless you're hiring somebody, an agency, to deal with the registration, no portal should be charging you anything for using the system yourself. So this was, a notice was published by the GAC about the issue in April 28th of last year. So while companies may allow a third party, like I mentioned, to submit a registration for them, companies are encouraged to conduct due diligence on any party offering to assist with the registration process. And before registering, companies should verify the authenticity of the registration system they're using. So the establishment can only be registered with GAC through their official Cypher portal, which is the link below, cypher.singlewindow.cn. That is the only legit link. And just mention, no charge for registration in the Cypher system, even though unless you use a third party to do it for you. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, pretty much all the work, the information, and advice shared today with you were done by the FAS office. So if you need any assistance with the Cypher system, please do get in touch with them through this email address. So that's pretty much today's presentation on Decree 248. Hopefully it gives you a bit more information about background of it and which products are determined to be a self-registered product or which ones have to go through a competent authority, and also a little bit about a glimpse into how to self-register in the Cypher system. So yeah, thank you so much. And if you guys have any questions, we'll try our best to answer those questions.
Yeah, thank you, Ian. Yeah, If you have any questions and you feel like being brave, you can raise your hand and take your mic off, and you can ask them that way, or you can write them in the meeting chat. In the meantime, we do have 2 questions from the same person, Ian. From Richard saying, I am an exporter. I purchase products from food processors and export them. Do I need to register? I'll let you answer that first, and then I'll go into
Sure.
the second one.
Sure. No. If you consolidate products from different manufacturers or storage facilities, no, you do not need to register your own company. But the manufacturers or the products that you sourced, they all have to be registered.
All right. And then the next question is kind of alluding to the complication of all of this. And he's asking why China doesn't just rely on the HS codes.
That's a good question, and I don't know if I can actually answer that question. It's difficult to understand all of the policy changes when it comes to exporting goods to China, really. So I don't know if I'm the best person to answer that question, and I don't really have an answer for that. I can only say that it's just the way it is. That is the thing with exporting to China. It really depends a lot on their decision making.
Right. And then the next one we have from Brett. I export forage, alfalfa, Timothy, grass straw products to dairy and grass straw products to dairies in China. Do we need to register?
Yes.
Right. And then Peter, go ahead.
No, yeah, sorry. No, so whether that is an Article 7 product or an Article 9 product, you can refer back to the presentation that we'll be sharing later with you.
Yes, yeah, I will hopefully be able to send the follow-up email that includes the recording of this and the presentation by the end of the day. If not the end of the day today, definitely tomorrow. And then the next question is from Peter. So you need to do both FDA, Access, ELM, and Cipher to submit. I'm getting mixed words that ELM is good enough. This is seafood processing.
For seafood processing, no, I think you have to go through the Cipher system. As far as I understand, the FAS might have the actual expertise to answer the question, but as far as I understand, everything eventually has to be approved on Cipher before it's allowed to be exported to China.